the sales aren't good with this person. Okay, always comes a new person. There'll always come new business.
Right.
It's so basic to go back to state and enjoying life, but it's so necessary.
I was prescribed meds when I was a kid for ADD. Made me feel like a total zombie. Didn't work. I could focus, but I felt like crap all the time.
I think, though, when you sleep, the first thing you do, the first thoughts, the first activity, the first focus for the first minimum 15 minutes, but I would say, the first starting the day, that sets everything. Hey, everybody, welcome to Indestructible Joy podcast, talking about how to better enjoy this life experience. Nothing really more than that. Got a lot of good stuff to talk about. Got Max with me today.
Hello.
Questions for me. Indestructible Joy. The premise behind that is no matter what happens in life, we're here for like 100 years. You got to figure out a way to enjoy it. I think there's ways to do that. You can absolutely systemize happiness. You can absolutely, despite what else is going on in the world, you can absolutely enjoy this life more and more and more, I've found. And kind of one of the things I wanted to start off, I know you had a couple questions, but the basic base for happiness, for enjoying life, or even having any kind of productive, meaning life, is to learn how to manage your state, your state of mind. I mean, no matter what, how good or bad things are, nothing's going to be made better if you're in a terrible mood.
Right.
If you can't at least manage your own state, you're of no value to anyone else. And it's really not like it's some mystical thing that you can do. There's absolutely a science to managing your state. There's three things that make up your state: what you focus on and what it means to you actually. But what you focus on, what you think about, is going to affect your state.
Mm-hmm.
What's wrong will always be there, but so's what's right.
Right.
You learn how to focus on what's right. But the words you use, what language do you use? That will affect you. So you cannot have a good state and be talking negative. Even in the way you use words. I run a pretty large telemarketing company, and I used to say if I was frustrated with someone, years back, I changed the word to fascinated, and instead of frustrated, I'm fascinated.
Ooh.
I'm fascinated that you would do that, because it makes me smile,
like
because
that.
I know I mean frustrated. They know I mean
I
frustrated.
like that.
But at least there's a smile on my face, and I realize, okay, I'm trying to look at the bright side for it. So, what you focus on, your words, and this one is one that's underestimated, is your physiology. If you're slumped over, if you're laying, think about depressed person. What comes to mind? Are they standing upright, or are they slumped over?
No, they're slumped.
Are they standing up, or are they laying down?
Yeah.
They're laying down.
And they're
really
probably
depressed,
using kind of
all
defensive
crossed over.
posture.
Yeah. Absolutely. Your body hears those signals and knows if you're, you can, and sometimes simple, get up and go for a walk. I tell people this all the time: chin up, chin up. You can see it when people are like this when they're talking. Chin up. Chin up.
Yep.
Be one of those friends that lifts your friend's chin up. Look up.
Yep.
If you want to manage your state. It's absolutely something that's doable. I do it all the time when I know I'm in a bad state. I know it's one of those things, and sometimes it's just a simple fix of
Right.
Stop thinking about that. Think about something else. Stop laying down watching TV. Get up and walk around.
Yeah.
And stop using the words that those do. That's kind of the basis for. If you want to enjoy this life, you start there. Figure out how to get good at enjoying your state right here, right now. Then what life life's not perfect. It's going to knock you down. It's going to ebb and flow. But if you can at least manage a starting point in your life, and you just wake up and let the world tumble you down, there's just no way. There's no way to win, in my opinion. So that's kind of...
Yeah, well, and I'm sure, you have to practice that. And I like that you bring that up, because my first kind of like introduction to that was, I was when I got started doing presentations and running meetings and speaking and things like that, I had somebody come up that was a experienced speaker, and he's like, well, man, in that meeting, you're sitting and you're retracted like this, and you look nervous, and it's contagious, right? Energy is contagious. So if you look like you're nervous and unsure, and if I talk, if I'm like, well, the products that we sell are, they're, my eye, I just don't, so, but if I'm like, hey, yeah, absolutely. You know what I mean? the way that you look and your body position and all of that, not only does it empower you, but it makes the people in the room feel like safe, right?
Yeah.
Okay, like this guy looks relaxed. He looks happy. I can be relaxed, really good feedback to me. So when I started going into business meetings, I would like sit outside for like 10 minutes before and, take some nice deep breaths and kind of like get all the, but it wasn't comfortable at first because I still felt like I'm a fraud. Like, what am I going to go in there and pretend? But what happens is when you do that more, you actually realize you're like, no, I am.
I do know what I'm talking about.
I do know what I'm talking about. So the physiology is like signaling to your brain, right?
In so many ways. In so many ways. And I think it's, especially as a man, you're measured by how safe do people feel around you. I think that's 100% for manhood.
100%.
But I think you can also dictate to a certain extent the tone and vibe of a room. There was a season of life where I got in a lot of trouble, did a lot of things. And I was basically every guy that glanced at me, I had a problem with. There was something happening. Everyone, it seemed like they were all looking at every gangster glare.
Yeah, and if you know anything about your background, you don't want to have a problem with you.
It just always is there. But you know what? That doesn't happen anymore.
Of course not.
And it's not because I lost my confidence. It's because I walk in. I don't care who it is. I don't care who it is. I look them in the eye and I have a smirk. I smile.
Yes.
I start off with the best intentions.
Yes, you do.
There's just no. Well, there's no scaring me either because I don't really, that stuff doesn't scare me. But it changed everything. It's like all of a sudden I don't have these problems. Like they don't exist anymore. Everywhere I go, I walk around, no matter what neighborhood, I'm just not confronted because I look people in the eye and I smile. I say, what's up? I'm not looking for trouble, but I'm also not weak. And it goes to you manage your state and you literally become not a victim. Not only do you become happy,
you have a
lot
rooted
more in control of your whole world. If you don't have your state and you're not sure, someone else is going to dictate it.
But you didn't always feel like that.
No.
So you had to practice that.
Absolutely.
And it took time.
It absolutely took time.
And I feel like
it took time. I've read, was so consumed for so many years. I've literally listened to over 1,000 Audible books and read. For 20 years, I was just consuming in a Bible college. And there's some of those practices, because there's a lot of stuff that's crap out there, but those three things, those three fundamental things, and I didn't, I'll tell you, boils it down best is Tony Robbins, but those three things, what you focus on, the words you use, and your physiology, you work on those things, and he'll even take you through, there's exercises you can learn and take through, start to look at the words you say, stand up, stand tall, they did this study where if you stand like a superhero for 3 minutes a day, it increases productivity. There's
a
lot of
it's been proven that standing up straight and puffing out your chest will literally increase your testosterone as a man.
Oh, good. I didn't even know that one.
Yeah.
That's new news for me. I know for me, it makes me feel better.
Right.
I work on my posture. I stand up, I lift my thing.
Right.
I stand as far as I can, just stretch myself to the sky and make myself as tall, mostly because my girlfriend's an inch taller than me. But
yeah, she's a tall drink of water. She is.
Stretch myself as tall as I can. And I realize, you know what, I feel better.
Yeah, no, and you know what's there's all of the meditations that I do are by this guy, Dr. Joe Dispenza. I don't know if you're familiar with him.
Absolutely. I've gone to one of his events. And he's the real deal.
Me as well. Yeah, I love him, but he's like an epigeneticist, and he was talking in his book called "You Are the Placebo" about a study they did where they took, I think it was like 20 guys who were in their 70s. They brought them out to a cabin, like a large cabin, like a little, bunch of cabins, and they put stuff up there from the 50s, from 20 years ago. So they said, listen to records you listened to 20 years ago. We're going to put have newspapers in there from events from 20 years ago. I want you to imagine that you are 20 years younger than you are. And they left them there for 2 weeks. And before, they took measurements of them. They took, body measurements.
Right.
They did all their vitals, took health measurements, blood work, all of that. And they brought them out there. And after 2 weeks, these guys literally biologically started to age the opposite way.
Yeah.
They got taller, physically taller. Their testosterone levels went up. Their inflammation went down. Like all kinds of real physical stuff happened from them just focusing on, okay, I'm going to believe
See, but that's a great backup for what I said, because not only were they focusing on it, but they're there talking to other people about it. So
Exactly.
the language and their physiology, they're physically there.
Yep.
In it, so it's gonna.
Yep. Yeah. There's another one where they had two groups. One group did bicep curls in real life, and the other group visioned in their head that they were doing bicep curls and tried to feel like, imagine what it feels like and envisioning yourself doing bicep curls. And when they did the measurements of muscle growth at the end, they had the same amount of muscle growth.
The results on placebo is staggering. It almost makes you wonder if it's 100% placebo, because it literally, if you believe the medicine's going to work, it works, even if it's sugar pills. To me,
and nocebo, the other way around.
Here's fascinating to me, because people kind of poo-poo the law of attraction, like you get what you think about. That is literal scientific proof that the law of attraction exists.
Yeah.
They think about being well. They did not take a drug. They got well.
Right.
Okay. How is that not? That's as mystical as it gets.
Yeah.
And they reproduce this study again and again and again. The placebo effect's not going away. So it's there. It's real. But science doesn't want to say, that's law of attraction. Even though it is. It's provable. It's provable that you get what you think about it. If you believe something's going to work, things are as good as bad as you think they are.
Yeah.
Period.
Right. So we started the episode, you're talking about how important it is to manage your state. I got a question for you on this. And it's kind of like, it's two-sided. One is, I mentioned to you that in college, I'm a psychology major, and my whole thesis was on pharmaceutical companies. And I have a pretty strong distrust in pharmaceutical companies. Now, I'm not demonizing brain meds, because I believe if you're bipolar and you need medication, then absolutely take it. But for example, we were talking about the ADHD thing, the ADD thing. I was prescribed meds when I was a kid for ADD, made me feel like a total zombie, didn't work. I could focus, but I felt like crap all the time. And so I ditched them, and I just trained myself to, study a different way. But with depression as well. And by the way, it was staggeringly, it was insane to me how easy it was. I walked into the doctor's office and they said, "How are you feeling?" Point to us, the smiley face or the frowny face. I was like, the frowny face. And they go, "Okay, we're going to prescribe you this SSRI. And we have some samples in the back. Let me go get you some samples to get you started." And, they prescribed the medication, which, look, if you need meds, again, I'm not knocking it. I just think that should be the last ditch effort. I like to try everything natural first. And if none of that works and I'm still miserable, then fine. But what do you think? Like, is that kind of putting a Band-Aid on something that needs to be addressed from a deeper level?
Well, the pharmaceutical industry, the entire industry exists for profit. Period. Okay. They create illnesses,
then treat them
to create treatments. I mean, it's so blatant and over the top, but yet there's a fear in us where we're so conditioned by our culture that thinks that we're supposed to trust these people and doctors, that even we know that parents will know that and still say, "Yeah, give them the vaccine." Yeah. Like it's almost like, wow, that's stunning that the whole thing's a sham. But you still.
Well, I'm not an anti-vaxxer.
No, I'm not.
I'm vaccinated. I got my kid vaccinated. I get what you're saying,
but
I respect. If you don't believe in it, that's totally cool.
Now there are some, because I've been in the mental health field for long. There's some cases where there's definitely some medication needed. They're pretty few and far between, and they're a very small percentage of what actually is prescribed.
Sure.
I mean,
it's overblown in the media.
Right. You come in to a psychiatrist, they're trained to say, this is the symptom, this is the medication.
Right.
Now, if you really want to calm your head down, learn how to meditate.
Right.
Okay. And don't read a book on it. Go learn. Go to a transcendental meditation. Pay for the classes.
Yeah.
It's 4 days. You'll learn how to slow your head down.
And by the way, hands down, the most life-changing thing for me was learning how to meditate.
Well, the second one, number 2, you want to be not on prescription drugs. exercise.
You're right.
Freaking move.
Yeah, half an hour of exercise is the same as taking.
And if you're not in shape, well, good. Get up and walk. Walk half a mile. Tomorrow, walk a mile.
Right.
But every single day, you know, and I'm addicted to behavior, so I have to do it every day because I feel like it pents up. I get pent up like angst if I don't, and that's my exhaust.
You expel that
every day. So I go every day and I try to hit 160 heart rate at least 3 or 4 times during the workout.
Are you a gym guy?
I go to the gym, pretty much every day.
But you're a jiu-jitsu guy, so you go there.
Yeah. I don't train as much jiu-jitsu as I used to. I do something every day to
get your
heart rate.
Yeah.
Now, I do like going to the gym with a trainer. They can get me there. What I do like about jiu-jitsu is you don't have to try to get there because as soon as the guy grabs you, you're gonna you're gonna engage. You're gonna be. You're gonna fight back.
I can imagine.
But I think there's something so wrong with the idea of medication. And I'm not talking about just prescription. I mean, I've medicated everything to myself. You know, I'm my own doctor. I don't trust doctors, but I'll take everything. For sure. And I learned each way the hard way. You know, weed, it'll take your mind off things. It'll also make you stupid and lose your keys all day and you won't get anything done. Alcohol, oh man, alcohol works. Alcohol will change your state.
Yeah. But it'll kill you. It'll kill you slowly.
Not everybody can stay out of jail when they drink.
Sure.
And even the ones that can stay out of jail, I feel sorry for because it's a miserable way to taper off. You know, I think we've lost the ability to just, when something's uncomfortable, fucking throttle through it.
Yeah, instead of numbing yourself out.
Work on it. You know, do what you have to do. And I'm not saying stay in there forever and live in it, but don't be so scared of it that you don't realize this isn't the human experience. This is normal. Sometimes I'm gonna feel shitty.
It's not all, and it's not. I'm not gonna feel like this forever.
Right. And you say, okay, well, how can I at least change my state? Maybe if I go for a walk. Focus. If you focus on your problems, whatever you focus on expands. That's just period. I mean, our brains are wired like that. We have a reticular activating system that as soon as it's familiar with something, it looks for the other. So if you're looking for, if you say, hey, it's going to be rainy or it's going to be a bad day, you look for things to back up what you said. But if you say no matter what's going on, it's going to be a good day, you'll do the same exact thing.
But here's my question for you, and this is what I personally have difficult with. We're talking about changing our state. So sometimes I will wake up, and I usually wake up with borderline anxiety, right?
Yeah.
Now, I've done, meditations, things like that, and that significantly helps. But how do I change my state if I am gripped so much by something that a positive thought, looking for something good, seems like it is out of the realm of my grasp?
I think everybody's been there, and I think it's something you get good and you get practice at. I mean, but it is literally stand up. There's incantations where we're, and I'm not talking about just saying it, just blatant words, not just affirmations. I'm a great guy. I'm a great guy. I'm talking about incantations where you get up, you walk, you move, and you talk and you speak to stuff. I mean, there's the thing is, you have to do it. And when you're in that state of funk,
you don't want to do it.
Because when you get up and you finally go to the gym or go to whatever and you get that going, you realize, okay, I'm good. Getting from point A to point B, that's a little bit of science.
Yes, but how do you do that? I hear people all the time. You just have to do it. I get that, but how?
Personally, the how for me, if I really wake up in a funk, I have to put something good inside my head. So I have a bunch of YouTube clips I listen to.
Okay,
I will put that in my I put that in. Almost have to listen to some good every day. Because the thing is with focus, you're gonna focus on something. The mind's like a dog, like a puppy. It's gonna chew on something. So you got to give it something, or it's gonna chew something up. So it wakes up, and if you haven't given it something, if you're not intentionally if that's not part of your ritual, because I think happiness is a system and a process.
It's a practice, right? You got to practice to be happy.
But if you don't have something and it's already focused on something else, it's going to focus on something, and it's going to stick on that.
Got it.
Negative. So it's
okay.
And you know what? I don't have it mastered. We never get it mastered. We're going to have good days, bad days, but it just, the shortness of my bad spells is extremely short. I just won't tolerate it anymore. I just don't want to be miserable. So I'll seek to find a way out. And, the main thing for me is putting good stuff in my head, moving around, exercise.
Yeah.
And you just, those things alone will change everything. It's also a decision. I don't think everybody makes the decision that they're in control of the state.
Yeah, because
they wake
can't...
up and they just want to blame.
Right.
It's because this, that. No. You have to, and if you're in a shitty mood, you have to decide not to be. Doesn't mean you're going to be not in a shitty mood, but you have to realize it's your responsibility to get out. You can't just stay there. You can't just be there. The idea of focus, the world, like even your mind is going to give you something. Let's say your mind gives you the wrong thing to focus on in the morning. You're all sideways. Well, do you think the world, if you don't put some good stuff in, do you think the world is? The 7-Eleven guy, the guy on the radio, the guy in the news? No. Your husband, your wife, your friends? No, they have their own ideas of, they're living their own life.
Yeah.
So they're not coming up going, let me come help Max with his state.
Yeah.
It's like you left your shoes on and it just, there comes a point in everyone's life, if you really truly want to enjoy this life, which you're only here 100 years, whole purpose is just to enjoy it. As far as I'm concerned, it can't get any deper than that. That's up to you. And
let me see.
You make, and then those are the tools. And if you, I use them, and it's more. Sometimes it works so well that I don't even want to share. I'll leave the house sometimes in such a good state before people piss me off.
Right.
That I don't even want to share what's going on, because I'll reach out and call. I'll be all fired up, and you can tell they're like, well, yeah, but this. And it's like,
somebody else.
You almost have to contain it. Learn how to handle it yourself, and then take it out into the...
Okay, so then here, I'm going to give you like a real life snapshot into what a bad state of affairs for me would look like. And then give me like some practical tips on what I can do. And I know this is your show, but I'm asking this selfishly because one of the most attractive things about you, Tommy, is you have this just like lightness about you. Like people like being around you, and I think they like being around you because you radiate that type of energy. But like, for example, like I will have a day where I'll get up and I'll look, I'll log in, I'll start working, and then I get like a message from a client that's like, hey man, we no longer want your services. Boom, there's a good chunk of money out the door. So right away, okay, I'm stressing about money. And then I'm like, well, I got to get new tires on my car. I might not be able to afford that, and they might blow out, and then this might happen.
Let me stop you before you even go, because let me ask this real quick question. What'd you do before that? Did you do any type of system or ritual to enjoy your day before that?
No.
Or did you get up? Because you get up and turn the thing on.
Because
I do that, and it's horrible. It ends horrible. I'll roll over and I grab my phone. Almost invariably, it doesn't impact me positively.
Okay. So you are in fact not a wizard.
No, not a wizard. And so much so I have to trick myself. I will sometimes plug it in on the weekends. I'll plug it in all the way across into the living room.
So you can't mess
not even
with
in
it.
my bedroom. Like across
so you're saying
the house.
Right away in the morning, don't dealing with my kid, dealing with my girlfriend, don't do any of that. Wake up early.
Even if it's 15 minutes.
And then meditate.
Yeah.
Right away in the morning.
Well, meditate, and if you can't slow your mind down, do a walking meditation. Get up, go for a walk. Put something good in your head, like listen to a 15-minute law of attraction thing.
And even that will make a difference.
It's I think it's the difference maker.
Really?
It's the difference maker. What I do first thing in the morning, every morning, is kind of...
Well, dude, if I can...
And of course, it has some challenges, because if you have a girl staying with you, they don't always wake up, ready to make sure your head's safe.
No, or sometimes my kid wakes me up. She's like, hey, let's go, Dad, right now. I'm ready, So, but maybe, though,
if make too much noise meditating and be in trouble for that.
Right. What about but the waking up early thing? And I know Tony's sitting behind the camera over here. I know I think he's nodding, but you're a proponent of waking up early, right? To get your day started right. Eat right. Okay, so for 45 minutes.
4:45, I wake up.
Okay, so Tony says he wakes up at 4:45. Tony, what do you do at 4:45 right away?
Take a shit. Go to the bathroom.
Yep.
I get ready, and then I just start going to the gym, because I usually want to start like 5:15.
Right. So it's the workout sets your day right.
Yeah.
See, I can't work out in the morning. I'm an afternoon workout guy.
That's a story. That's a story you're telling. So why would you think that? That's like, because I always say I can't work out in the evening, but then someone says, "What do you mean? What, does your body not work?" Like, and it kind of clicked. I mean, this was just a week ago, and I was like, you know what? I don't even know why I say that.
Okay.
I feel like I have to get it out of the way the first thing in the morning, but the way I came across is, I can't really work out in the evening. I don't have the energy. And when he said that, when he called me on it, I was like, I don't even know where it came from. It's just a story.
Okay.
That I had.
Fair enough.
So, because I think what Tony's realized, like it or not, that increases happiness. So he puts that first. All his eggs are, let me get this ready and get to the gym first. And he gets up so early that no one can schedule some bullshit, and he can't go to the gym. Like, he's not going to have a scheduling conflict at 5 a.m.
Right.
Not that that's, that's the way, but
that's
whatever the plan is, was working out something. And I don't think it's whether you make up 4:45, because some people stay up. My girlfriend stays up till 6 and studies, so she's not going to get up at 7 or 8. She'll sleep till 11 or 12.
Yeah.
So different people have different sleep cycles. I think, though, when you sleep, the first thing you do, the first thoughts, the first activity, the first focus for the first minimum 15 minutes, but I would say, the first starting the day, that sets everything. Because I have had horrible days, and I can pinpoint it back to something happened in the morning. I didn't do it.
And then I've
had great days where I've also had days where I feel like I've got myself all dialed in, and I'll leave the house, and an avalanche of crap comes, and I realize, you know what, I was ready for this. Like, there was times where I was like, okay, this is life, and it doesn't just wreck me as it.
Yeah,
it's
that's powerful.
It's a science. It's an art. Because what makes you happy, Tony happy, me happy, it's not going to be the same. The art part, but the science part, the things you can do. Wake up, and I have a whole exhaustive list on the focus things you can do to focus. You can write gratitude lists. There's all kinds of things you can do.
Yeah.
To do that, but having something in place where happiness won't just happen. The world's probably not going to make it. Maybe some people are naturally happy.
You mean everybody's not out to make me happy every day?
It's got to be something that you wake up, and because, man, I mean, what a rare and beautiful thing it truly is that we even exist. I don't think we really sometimes take a step back. Oh, wait a minute, I'm in the game. 100 years, I won't be. It's not going to last forever.
No.
What is so serious going on that I'm going to just? What could I possibly just continually hate about it? There's nothing serious going on here.
So let's talk about losing a big client. You got a couple of heavy hitters, and you're dependent on that income, and one of them decides to leave, and you don't have another one lined up, and that's going to affect your kids. That's going to affect your state of mind, your bills. How do you stay happy?
You think it's going to affect because you've made all these assumptions of new business won't come, and this is cliche when people say that, but how do you know it's not opening the door for something huger? Like, I don't know that, you don't know that, but it could be. Something's got to replace it, so it might as well. But you know what? Does anyone ever like getting punched in the stomach by life? No. I think it's there's no.
It's just part of it.
That's an interesting. You can't let it be. Actually, a better result is what is your response to it? What is your response to it?
Here's my response.
Yeah.
Usually, God fucking damn it! What am I gonna do?
I'm not saying run from it, and I'm not saying live in it, but own it and be. What is
fear? Here's the deal, Tommy. I'll give you the 411.
You don't want to go broke and live on the street.
No, but you're right. But here's the 411. And I've done a decade plus of work to not be this way, but I still get in this state. I am a self-centered, frightened man. And on a bad spiritual day, it's very easy for me.
Important. We all are, as humans. Every man is. Some do a really good job of hiding it, but it's not a bad thing. You're going to have unknown. We don't know what happens to them after we die. You know what I mean? There's so many unknowns that nobody just goes through and goes like, oh, I got it. They get better at it and indulge it, and they can quiet that voice and make other voices louder. But yeah, that's a, I mean, sorry to interrupt, but that starting point is, that's how we are, all are.
Sure.
And it's actually a little bit of maturity to know that, hey, I'm a man, I'm human, I'm scared, and
Yeah.
insecure.
Well, what's helped me is, I mean, obviously I'm in recovery, so I keep it in the forefront of my mind that at the end of the day, I am not running the show. And God has never once dropped me on my ass.
Yeah.
In all of the hardships and everything I thought bad that was really going to happen, 97% of it has never happened. God has never dropped me on my ass.
Yeah.
And the thing is he doesn't write us a postcard like, "Dear Max, I'm going to rearrange some stuff
Right,
in your life and
right.
it's going to hurt, but it's
Right.
going to be better in the long run." That doesn't happen. So that's what's helped me. And you just shot this really good reel where you were saying, I don't care who you are, I don't care what you're going through, that God is for you.
Yeah.
And I think that
How could he not be? The evidence is so clear. I mean, you did nothing to make your heart beat. Yourself breathe. You did nothing to bring yourself there. Something was for you to get you here.
Mm-hmm.
But yet we just disregard that and think, "Oh, I'm just in this on my own." No, you didn't even make your heart beat once in your entire life.
right.
So what do you really? You didn't
Right.
do anything to show up.
Right.
Something is for you because someone fed you when you were a baby, or you'd have starved. Something,
Yeah,
was
or
for
not
you.
to mention the 1,000 times I drove my car blacked
yeah,
out.
that's all.
And I
yeah.
didn't kill myself
Well, and then you
or
can get
anybody
into the
else.
Just exact balance. If gravity was 1% stronger, everything would implode. If
Yeah,
it was 1%
right.
weaker, everything would. It's just,
It's crazy.
Everything's put together.
Right.
That you kind of go, okay, whatever you want to call God, source, energy, spirit, whatever. It's obviously for me because it's sustaining my
Mm-hmm. Right.
life.
Yeah, and if you resist what happens, you
Right.
get out of alignment with
yeah,
it.
100%.
But if you go with the flow, whether you think it's a good thing necessarily or a bad thing,
Yeah.
you are in alignment with it,
All
right?
Here's a tough one that I think is going to be true when you talk about losing a client. I think this gets head off at the beginning. This is a tough one for people to get, especially in marriages. It's this. A friend told me this a while back. He said, "All roads end." He was talking about relationships. All roads end. And in my mind, I didn't want to digest it because I'm like, no, not this one, because I want it to be the always and forever. And this, but think about it. Let's say you find the perfect one. You spend your whole life together. One of you dies first. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That relationship's going to end, or you both die together. Either way, the relationship as it is in this body is going to
Yep.
end. Your work relationship, this company is doing amazing, but I remember when I bought it, I thought, I don't think it's going to last. I don't think I'm not sure if it's going to make it. It turns out it's unkillable. It does better and better and better. But I still, in my mind, I know that there will be one day this isn't my company. I'll die. It'll go out of business. The world will crash into a star. I don't know. Something will happen where the road will end.
Yeah.
And I think that kind of gives me a little bit of peace. You don't want to focus on this too much with the girls that you want to stay with for your life because they kind of think you're on
Hey,
it.
how you doing, baby?
But, well,
one day,
well,
this
one day we're
relationship
not gonna
is
be-
going to end. Can you imagine?
No, but it I think it helps you not hold on to it so tightly.
Yeah.
And maybe enjoy
Memento
it a little more.
mori.
If I realize, okay, like not to be morbid, but I trip out on death. I wake up every morning and the first
Yeah.
thing I say is, "Today's a good day to die." I say
Sure.
it out loud, audibly. That's my
Yeah, well,
first
the
word.
Stoic philosophy,
Because
memento mori.
someday the
Someday
sun
you will
won't
die.
come up. So it might as well make today, a good day. And so I've taken that approach with the relationship I'm in right now. I know that everything could change. Either one of us could just fall off the planet. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You never know.
So then would you
Our
agree?
lives aren't forever. Tomorrow's not promised. So it really does help me realize, okay, this road's going to end, but I really like this road I'm on. I really like this person I'm with. So I'm like, okay, I'm going to enjoy it.
Yeah.
I'm not going to be so worried about
right,
it.
but right there, right? So
Gonna,
how do you enjoy things without developing a sense of attachment to them? So when they are gone,
Yeah.
that you know what I mean?
well, you're going to get attached to things you like. You're going to like things that you like and want them around. That's not even a bad thing. I think the awareness that the attachment is going to cause pain, and that's okay. I'm attached, very attached to my kid. All my kids.
Yeah.
I'm attached.
But they're going to grow up,
Right.
and they're going to leave.
Yeah. And you know what? One day I'm not going to be here anymore. My heart's going to stop beating. So those roads will end, and that's the ones where the rubber meets the road. You look at your kids and I think, man, all roads end, including these. That's terrifying for me. But the flip side of it is I go, it hasn't yet. It's a good day to die, but I haven't died yet. So, You know,
Yeah.
But for me, it does give me a lot of peace. Just kind of saying, it gives me a lot more appreciation when I say all roads are going to end,
But they haven't yet.
Because then I have a little appreciation because right now it's fine. Like if I feel like I'm about to go broke, this company's gone through that 57 freaking times. I'm pretty sure it's going to crash. Payroll's not going to bounce, and it just, you know what, all roads end, and for whatever reason, having no fear of that has allowed the road to just keep going. Because then it comes and we do make payroll and it's fine. It's like, okay, didn't die yet, another day. And that happens so many times early in business. I think that's why people have a hard time becoming an entrepreneur, because you suffer a lot of losses and you think you're going to die. It's like being a gladiator. Every day you have to give and battle, and there's a good chance you could die.
Yeah, no, there's three. Tony's over there laughing. There's three entrepreneurs here. I run my own business.
There's no safety net.
Yeah, you run your own. He runs his own.
A big client goes, you're like, well, shit,
I'm fucked. Right. But the thing is I'm too fucking stubborn to go work for anybody either.
Oh, that's the same here.
You know, I trust me, I know Tony behind the camera. I know he's too stubborn.
That doesn't go well for anyone.
No, right? No, it doesn't.
And we shouldn't. You know,
so it's like which hard do you want? Which pain do you want?
Everyone should be an entrepreneur, but I've realized not everyone can be. Not everyone can handle you got to be willing to die.
No, some people are more entrepreneurial.
They like the security, and they like the so I no longer say that. Well, plus I have 20-some employees. I need them to be
yes, you
happy
do.
Employees, not
yes,
all
you do.
starting their own business. But it just kind of, for people like us, there's no other way. And you know, all these that you've gone through, how many have you gone through, like you just said, and God didn't drop you on your
Never.
head? I mean, I've
never.
gone through lawsuits. I've gone through some things where where on there was a couple times where on the paper there was just no way this company was going to be able to survive, kind of hit.
And forget business, bro. Like I've been in the psych ward after a suicide attempt, and God still didn't drop me. You know what I mean? I mean, I blew a .42 in the hospital once, and when they woke me up, they were like, you were that close to dying, man. And then you know what I did is I went to the liquor store when I left the hospital.
And some of the things, you know, amidst my 19 arrests by the time I was 23, it kind of blows me away that none of those were drunk driving. And I drove drunk all day, every day, blackout.
Yeah.
Me too. How I drove, and fast.
Me too.
And the fact that, you know,
a miracle.
We say God kept on your head, that I didn't kill anyone.
Oh, that's a miracle.
Forget my own life.
Yeah,
I mean, my cousins died. I had several people die from drunk drivers. Mm-hmm. You know, so you and I sitting here right is
now
a freaking miracle.
That is evidence
the fact
that God is for you.
You know, my friends. I have one of my best friends is in a federal penitentiary right now behind a trunk load of meth, selling drugs and guns. And the only reason it was him and not me, I would say, God likes me better, but I don't think he was a much nicer person to me. He was a much more likable person. If I'm God, I liked him more. Yeah. And I'm the one that led him down half these paths when we were 15, 16 years old. First one to smoke weed with him, do all this stuff, steal cars and stuff with him. And it just, sometimes luck of the draw. Yep. Or I don't know what it is.
Yeah, we don't know what it is, right?
But when I'm able to reflect on stuff like that, and then the big things do come, and the shitty clients or shitty things happen, take stock of okay, all relationships end. This one's ending, but look at how many relationships you have now that you didn't have 10 years ago.
True.
Like any of your business clients you have now, did you have them 5 years ago?
Only one of them.
Okay, so that means the others came from somewhere else.
And I've had a lot in between that came and went.
5 years from now might be a lot of Yep. That's
so stick it out, right?
Stick it out, but don't run from it. But it's also, I think everyone doesn't have a plan, you know. And I'm not talking a plan to fix it and get new customers. I'm talking about a plan for your headspace. Get your state right first.
Yes.
Get your state right first. Everything else is down.
Will fall in line.
If you sit down in a panic and you're putting together a plan and you're putting together a thing, it doesn't go out.
Yeah, so sometimes I operate like that for 2 weeks straight,
but it doesn't get
panicked,
results.
worried.
It doesn't, because people hear it when you're interviewing. Yep. Everything has a.
Yep.
You know, I hate to say it, and people hate when I do this, but I assume God's just going to hook me up. I just assume.
God, that's one of the most beautiful things I've ever heard.
I don't know how it happened, but it just one day I just kind of realized, man, the world. I remember just saying to myself, the world's my resort. Basically, God gave this all for me to just be here. And ever since then, it's just kind of been in the back of my mind of like, God's got me. And God's got you till while you're here, he's sustaining me. Someone's making my heart beat. Something is making my heart beat. It's not me. So while that's going, I'm going to try and enjoy the ride.
Yeah, it's the trust in the unknown.
You know, and
out.
it's so basic to go back to state and enjoying life, but it's so necessary. Like if you can't do that basic, manage your state, and that means and see, people don't like that because it's not pragmatic. That means being optimistic. It means looking for the bright side. It doesn't mean just I'm happy. It means look at everything and say, okay, what's the blessing in this?
Yeah, what am I great and what do I have now that I'm grateful for?
Yeah, there is bright side to everything. Every challenge and everything.
Always a silver lining, my friend.
It's never going to feel good to lose a client, though. It's never. You know, it's kind of like when because I've literally probably let go of over 1,000 people in the last 25 years because telemarketing. And before this, I managed another huge telemarketing company.
Yep.
And it was such a turnover that it was probably, there was a point where I would let go, we'd hire 9 and let go of 4 or 5 just about every week. So I was constantly get used to this letting people go. And I think what it did is it kind of built in me a muscle of like learning how to end relationships. You know, the sales aren't good with this person. Okay, it's fine. It's going to be okay with us out each other. Someone else always comes. Mm-hmm. Like we just had our accountant quit or move away to somewhere to go with her husband or whatever selfish reason she had to not help me out anymore. It left that fear of like there's so much going on, but there always comes a new person. There will always come new business.
Right.
You know,
unless you quit.
Unless you quit,
and then for sure,
the only way you lose.
Yep.
That is literally the only way you lose.
Yep.
But see, I feel like your mind works like mine. Is I'll go straight to the extreme. I'll lose one customer, and somehow, next thing you know, I'm pretty sure I'm going to lose my house. I don't know where my kids are going to stay. I can sleep in the car, but where are my kids going to
Yeah,
like that?
It's catastrophizing.
I'm probably
Yeah.
I think I have enough to pay the mortgage next month, so it's not really, you know.
Right. Well, no, and not only that, but
it's
like
unrealistic.
When that happens to me and I catastrophize, I will call my sponsor, right? And I'll be like, you know, I woke up late and I got here late and my boss is going to fire me and then this is going to happen. And he's like, okay, but what's wrong right now? And I go, and I go, well, nothing. He's like, okay, start there.
Yeah, and also, if you really want a solution and all that, and this man, I learned this from a Navy SEAL. I went through Mark Devine's SEAL Fit training. I'm not a SEAL, never was, but he developed this thing that it was a long time ago. I was a lot more fit, where he tries to simulate Hell Week, which is gnarly. I wish I would have never done it. But one of the things he said that stuck out most is here's what he was taught. Under fire, here's what they do. They do 3 things when they're under fire, and under fire for them. You're
life and death.
Yeah, people are dying around you. You're killing it. It's not like a busy day in the telemarketing room.
No,
it's 3 things. Number 1, which I found is interesting, breathe. First thing you do is breathe. Mm-hmm. So people are shooting at you, and the first thing they tell you to do, breathe.
Yeah, hey, just breathe. Right?
Then prioritize and execute. So breathe, figure out what's most important, and do it. Mm-hmm. And I apply that to with lawsuits, with everything, because the stuff gets me. You know, I'm not a wizard, and I have yet
to believe that.
I have such a high, strong personality that if I get off the tracks, I get way off the tracks. So for me, that's been like gold for me when I'm really under stress. Okay, just take a couple deep breaths. What's most important? And sometimes I have to call someone and figure out what's the most important thing to do, and just do that because if I'm doing that, everything else may still be there, but I'm not thinking about it. You know, and really, I trip out on this because really all we have is here. Yep. That's all you have. It's your own universe. You can't see in my mind. I can't see in yours. We don't know anything. All we have is right here. So to me, if something is going on and I'm not thinking about it, it's not in my mind. Where does it exist? Nowhere. It literally doesn't exist. Mm-hmm. Like my problem is gone if it's not in my mind. It may come back into my mind, but at that time, the problem does not exist. There's nowhere else it can exist. I can't put it. It doesn't resonate in someone else's mind, and they ruminate for me. It's literally it literally doesn't exist.
Yeah.
There's no other place it exists.
So if you don't give it your attention and you give
It
a
literally
better
doesn't
feeling
exist.
thought your attention.
It literally does not exist in that moment. Does that mean there aren't some consequences and things moving on?
Sure,
But,
yeah.
but in that moment, to me anyway, it maybe exists someone else or I don't know, but I only know this. And if it's not in my mind, I just keep going back to, well, where does it exist? It exists, but it's not there. So where? By logic, it doesn't exist in that moment. I don't know. I'm getting kind of off on the thing here.
It's fascinating
but I really
stuff.
am into focusing on the good shit in life, and that's where
Yes.
this kind of things comes from. I mean, I believe there's some problems. There's some problems that you can't help, but they just keep coming back. You got to address them. But there are things you can blow off and just never take care of, and it's okay.
The problem
It's
will
okay.
solve
They
itself.
just never.
Well, yeah.
they just
Interestingly
never-
enough,
you know, if you leave your house messy enough, eventually you move. That mess went away.
yeah,
I mean, that's an extreme example, but
yeah. But like, a more appropriate example would be like, I don't know, man. Like 9 times out of 10, if I just remove my like agenda from like, if I have a problem with like a friend, and they like come at me in a nasty manner, I have 2 options. I can respond and be like, you know what? Fuck you, dickhead. This and that. Or if I just do nothing or respond in kindness, usually that problem solves itself.
Yeah.
But often, I don't know how many times I've called my sponsor and been like, what do I do? He go, how about nothing? Do nothing. And the problem solves itself.
Yeah. It really, and if you can really, really, really want to drill down into it, layer down into it, what did we come here for if we didn't come here for problems? Did we come here to just sit in a nest and be fuzzy? I mean, how boring would that be if everything went your way?
Yeah.
That would be, there's an old parable where the guy talks about he's getting everything, and he thinks he's in heaven, and really he gets so bored, the guy goes, well, who said you were in heaven? So we came here for the challenging stuff. That's why I think we came into this whole existence is for the challenge, for the contrast, for the hard stuff, how we handle that. Now, do I want to shy away from it as much as possible? Yeah, but at the end of the day, think about it. Your biggest lessons you've learned in life were not from easy days. It was always from your tough shit.
True.
That's the stuff that makes us who we are.
True.
It's just not that fun to go through it sometimes when we're going through it.
Man, amen.
I appreciate you being on here. Appreciate your questions. I think it all starts there. There's that manage your state first. I mean, there's so many things you can do to better your life, and the list is long.
Yeah.
From what you focus on, progress equals happy, finding somewhere to grow. Contribution makes you happy. Growth and contribution will exponentially add value to your life. And there's different ways you can do that, but I think it all kind of starts with you make a decision. Hey, who's in charge of this, of my happiness? Is it me or the world?
Tony is in charge of my happiness.
Okay, well, yeah. If it's someone else,
Just kidding.
If it's someone else,
Yeah.
maybe you'll get lucky.
Yeah, right. Maybe. No, but absolutely.
Yeah,
absolutely.
You're 100% in charge.
No, and like you said, it's a decision.
Yeah.
I can decide to feel
And it
shitty,
doesn't
or I
mean
can
it'll always
decide.
work all the time.
No.
But when you take the responsibility and you realize you had a shitty day, and you think, you know what, it was my decision to hold on.
Just
to that.
to stay in it.
Because I will decide to stay mad sometimes.
Sure.
Especially if you're fighting with your girlfriend.
Yeah.
Sometimes.
How dare
Fine,
how dare you?
Yeah, let's just open it up.
Right? How dare you treat me
Let's
this
just
way?
run it to the end and see if we can see who's standing.
Right.
Yeah. But I don't know that anyone has this whole life thing figured out. I think there's people like me and you just why I think it's so important for people to express themselves. You don't have to be right. Just express yourself. You don't regurgitate what other people say. You don't have to. Just start to really think for yourself and express yourself. Work your way through this thing we call life.
Can't think of a better way to end
Hope
it
that
than
helps.
that, brother.
If anything was good on here, I'm glad. I'm happy for you. I'm open for any questions or message me. There's
Subscribe,
all that
comments.
stuff. Follow, subscribe, comment. I'll even take the hater stuff too. That stuff makes me smile.
Yeah. Tommy
Disagree all you want.
loves haters. Come at him, bro.
God bless you. Have a great week.